Here in the United States, we are fortunate to have many traditional holidays that are uniquely American, but none of them are quite as special as Thanksgiving. Family and friends from all over the country join together to give thanks and share in a joyful feast, and watch TV.
So, I know Knacks is going to be a slow burner. I started my channel covering 90s media. I considered myself a 90s kid. The majority of my audience is just sitting tight until I start talking about Nicktoons. Not all of you, of course. I made some friendly acquaintances with people who grew up during the first couple of years in Nickelodeon, and younger people who have been very receptive to the older stuff. But when I get to 1991, this scene is gonna explode. It's gonna be forever and a half before we get there though. But until then, we can dabble in the Nicktoons, stick our big toe in the Nicktoons with Knacks specials, a look at various one-offs and special episodes that have aired over the channel's 40-year lifespan. Now, for most of us, Nicktoons began in 1991 with the holy trinity of Doug, Rugrats, and Ren and Stimpy, and you can certainly make the case for that. Nicktoons does have a certain brand aesthetic that we'll all be exploring in great detail. But if your definition of Nicktoons is just original animation produced by Nickelodeon, then there are actually two Nicktoons that predate the Holy Trinity, two made-for-TV holiday specials, 1988's Christmas in Tattertown and 1989's Nick's Thanksgiving Fest. Today we'll be covering the latter.
One of the favorite parts of that feast is cranberry sauce. Here we see the cranberries at the processing plant, right after being picked. And here, just before being shipped to your local store. Excuse me, sir. Is there any special technique in canning cranberries?
Oh, you mean cranberries. How else do you think we can cram so many of those little fellers into these itty-bitty cans? And the best part is, they work for peanuts.
Yes, I know it's a few days after Thanksgiving. Sorry about that, I got super sick, it put me behind schedule. However, before we talk about Nick's Thanksgiving feast, we need to talk about the woman who made it all possible, Vanessa Coffey. Coffey had been working in animation production for a while now, including working on Muppet Babies and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but had become disillusioned with the toy commercial model of cartoons that had infested the 1980s. At that time, animation was almost entirely commercials for toys. After all the Hasbro shows, including the Transformers and G.I. Joe, I kinda just decided I didn't want to do that anymore. It just felt like I was working on commercials. So Coffey moved from California to New York City, where Nickelodeon was based at the time, and she was soon hired in producing an animated Thanksgiving special. It was decided that the special would consist of two anime shorts, framed with humorous animated interstitials, all from different creators. The first short, Thanksgiving Nightmare, gives us a battle between a clan of mice and a clan of cockroaches, fighting over Thanksgiving leftovers that a family have left on the table. All the while, the family cat tries to stop them. Thanksgiving Nightmare was the brainchild of Kevin Altieri, who had previously done work for Rambo, The Forces of Freedom, Cops, The Real Ghostbusters, and Alf Tales, but would later become one of the main directors for Batman the Animated Series. Also, he co-directed every 10th grader in 1998's favorite music video, Do the Evolution by Pearl Jam. Quite the journey from these Tom and Jerry antics. Frankly, there's not much to this short. The mouse versus cockroach stuff doesn't feel nearly as inventive as it could have been. Some guys launch themselves with spoons and mousetraps. That's alright, but where's the toothpick sword duels and characters swinging off the hands of clocks and driving around on a roller skate like a car? The actual battle stuff is roughly a minute long. More time is spent on build-up than payoff. The animation isn't bad per se. There's some good character squish going on, but a few shots are repeated to fill out time, and the aesthetic isn't much to write home about. It all ends on a very mean-spirited tone. When the family returns and sees the mess the mice and roaches have left, they assume it was the cat's doing. They then kick the cat out of the house. Now, I know it's common to see cats playing the antagonist in animation, Tom, Sylvester, characters like that, but this short doesn't sell that at all. The cat just tried its best. It did not deserve this treatment at the end. It will now have to wander around and go hungry and have to appeal to old Deuteronomy to be let into the Heaviside Lair. Happy Thanksgiving! Well, that ended on kind of a downer. Hopefully, Thanksgiving dreams can raise our spirits.
The Great Depression was terrible. Almost everyone lost their jobs, and most families became poor. It was a time without television, without video games. There were no designer sneakers.
Yes, if it wasn't for the Great Depression, Nintendo and Air Jordans would have come out 50 years earlier. This short has two children, Sam and Emily, being all sad that the Great Depression has robbed them of a proper Thanksgiving. When they go to bed that evening, they have a dream about a Thanksgiving dinner come to life. This short is much more visually imaginative. Little carrots doing synchronized swimming in their pots, the kids ice skating on a skillet with chunks of butter, a turkey stuffing itself, all sorts of fun. Though it also has that weird sausage party vibe where we're watching anthropomorphic food getting brutally murdered. Oh my god! Thanksgiving Dreams was written by Terrence McDonald and Jim Carlson, a writing duo who had both worked on Spiral Zone and the original Battlestar Galactica. It was directed by Joe Pearson, who also worked on Spiral Zone, as well as being an artist for the Get Along Gang, Gravedale High, and DuckTales. He would continue to contribute to Nickelodeon, doing design work for Real Monsters and Rocko's Modern Life. Also, Jim Sterling's favorite cuss censor, The short reaches its climax when a ball of dough gets too much yeast and turns into this grotesquerie. The kids have to use pepper to cause it to sneeze itself to death, and oh my god! The kids wake up to discover that a Thanksgiving dinner has magically appeared in their kitchen, with no explanation. There's a lot more imagination in Thanksgiving Dreams, but it does have a few quirks. The first 2.5 minutes are shown as still frames, which I thought might have been a stylistic choice to separate the real world from the dreamlike whimsy, but when the kids wake up, it's still properly animated. More likely, they just ran out of time and or budget to finish animating the thing, and prioritized the dancing potatoes, which was the right call. The interstitials, the bumpers tying it all together, were done by Joey Album, who had already done dozens of Nickelodeon Channel indents. His style of thick lines, flat colors, and simple shapes translated into a lot of fun imagery that fit the channel well. The interstitials are the best part of the whole special. They're quick, they're funny, and they're simple.
After tracking the elusive turkey for many miles, we now may be close to answering that age-old question. What exactly do turkeys eat for Thanksgiving? Yes, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We are about to make scientific history. Excuse me, please. Ever since the Pilgrims first started Thanksgiving with its traditional turkey dinner, man has wondered, what do turkeys eat for Thanksgiving? Would you be kind enough to show us?
Sure, why not?
You were expecting burgers and fries, maybe?
Album got a regular gig on Sesame Street not long after this, and is still very active in television and children's books. As a product to consume, Nick's Thanksgiving Fest isn't all that amazing. Both shorts feel cheaper than they probably should, they don't really gel together all that well, and there's no real message or any attempt to tug at your heartstrings like most holiday specials try to do. This is not one of the holiday special greats. However, its historical importance for Nickelodeon is pretty great. It didn't make much of a splash in ratings, but it was done in time and wasn't a disaster, so Nickelodeon decided to try producing original animation at a much greater scale. Her success here would end up with Vanessa Coffey becoming Vice President of Animation, and the person in charge of the entire Nicktoons operation. It's not much of a Nicktoon, but without Nick's Thanksgiving Fest, Nicktoons probably wouldn't be a thing. The special received no home video release, but with multiple reruns over the years, it's not hard to find on tape trading and file sharing circles. There's at least 3 versions up on YouTube at the time of this writing. If you're interested in animation history, give it a watch. Yes, even now. After all, the best part of Thanksgiving is the leftovers.
Nick, 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 Nickelodeon. Nick, 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 Nickelodeon.